Alors bonjour et bienvenue à Business France. Je me présente, Claire Ferté, je suis la coordinatrice du point de contact national pour les technologies de l'information et des communications pour Horizon 2020. Et j'aimerais déjà remercier... Très bien. Juste pour vous... déjà, je voudrais remercier tous les intervenants des projets qui sont là aujourd'hui. À un moment donné, je vais switcher en anglais puisque... Merci. Deux de nos intervenants ce matin sont anglophones plutôt que francophones. J'essaierai de switcher pour qu'elles puissent être intégrées dans les présentations. Donc cet événement est organisé conjointement avec plusieurs acteurs que je voudrais encore remercier. Donc le PCN PME représenté aujourd'hui par Laure Quintin qui prend des photos. Le PCN NMBP qui est énorme. Je ne sais pas si elle est déjà là. Non, elle arrivera un peu plus tard. Et donc les pôles de compétitivité, systématique qui fait son entrée à votre gauche. Cap Digital qui est aussi dans la salle avec Manuela, petit coucou, qui est juste derrière, mais le poteau m'empêche de te voir. Ménalogique à ma gauche. Et enfin, le pôle EMC2 qui est aussi le PCN NMBP. Donc la thématique d'aujourd'hui, vous l'aurez compris, c'est l'un des instruments d'Horizon 2020 qui porte plusieurs noms, le soutien financier à des tiers, le Financial Support to Third Party en anglais ou Cascading Grant. Donc notre objectif aujourd'hui, c'est de vous expliquer ce que c'est et comment vous pouvez candidater aux appels de ces projets. So, I'm going to switch now in English. Thanks again to our speakers of this morning session. So I'm Claire Ferté, like I say, I'm the ICT NCP, and the introduction will be given by Frédéric, who is from the MESRI. And we are going to have a quite tough morning because we have 12 presentations from different projects, and the first 3 are by Skype. So this is why we are a little bit late, because we have to handle some mic problems, but I hope it's going to be fine. We will have a break, but after each 3 presentations, I give the floor to 10 minutes of questions if you have, mainly for the 3 first because they are online, so do not hesitate to ask them the question during that time. And then during the lunch, you can network with the project who are going to be here physically. So the lunch will be on the other side, and really do not hesitate to ask them some questions because some of them cannot stay in the afternoon, so they have to leave. Some of them can stay for meetings in the afternoon. We already planned some meetings, so if you want to meet them, come back to me. And the different projects we are going to have this morning have either open calls now or will have open calls in the future. So it's really the opportunity for you to know what they are doing and to prepare yourself if the projects are going to open their calls. Here you have only 12 projects, but you have to know that there are a lot of them running right now. So this is just a sample of those projects. If you have any question on other topics, please come back to us. We are here to help you to find the right project if we can. And all the presentation today will be registered, as you can see in the back. So they will be published on our website as the PowerPoint. So I let the floor to Frédéric.
Je vais faire en anglais aussi. Good morning, everyone. So I apologize for my slide will be in French, because, but I'll do the presentation in English. So I'm Frédéric LAURENT, I'm at the Research Ministry, and I'm representing France in the program committee, which is we are discussing the work program where you have the normal call for proposal where you can answer them. Horizon 2020 in a nutshell, why this call? Why is these FTSP calls? Because if you go to what is positive about Horizon 2020 is that it's one of the biggest RDI program in the world. It's really focused on open innovation, so it helps you to, as a participant to the program, to gather new ideas, to access to other competencies and capacities throughout Europe. It helps you internationalize your research, but also if you are an SME to get to know and develop your networks, either for subcontractors, your partners, your clients also. It's roughly 1 billion euros per year for the French community of research and innovation. But we could be even better if we were up to our potential, which is because roughly we contribute to 16% of the RDI in Europe, and we only get 11% through Horizon 2020. And that's mainly why the main reason is we don't participate enough. So I thank again Claire for this kind of day, because it helps us promote the program, and you'll see there are a lot of opportunities for especially in the FTSP. And the grant rate is quite attractive if you compare to the French national rates. And of course, the main added value is on open innovation. So there's a lot of positive points on Horizon 2020, but there are a few drawbacks. It's a very long programming cycle, and in the ICT field, it can be a burden. For example, we will not get into details today, it's not the purpose, but between the definition of a work program to the beginning of a project, it takes 2 years. 1 year and a half, 2 years, for the fastest one. And then you need to execute the research. So it's a long programming cycle, which is quite a program for ICT. It's not so easy to get there. There is a learning curve that can be quite difficult at the beginning. There's a first step that can be hard. And so it's not so easy to access for newcomers. Projects are ambitious, complex. For example, if you want to coordinate a research project, usual Horizon 2020 research project, the building phase, the preparatory phase, it takes you 2% full-time for 3 months. As a coordinator, as a partner, is much lighter. So it's big project, and with 8, 9, 10 partners, so it's not that easy. The success rate is not that high. To be honest, now it's much better. It's more than between 20 and 25% since 2018. It's good, but for new actors, and in particular SMEs, considering the learning curve, the risk can be a bit high, and there is also management cost that is quite high, because when it's dealt directly by the Commission. So this is why the DG Connect, this is mainly DG Connect and a bit of DG RTD, so through the ICT and NMBP programs, have been testing and now deploying a bit more broadly these FTSP calls and projects. So why? Because there is 4 main issues. The first one, especially in the ICT, we need to be a bit more agile. The program is a bit too heavy and slow. We need to attract newcomers, and especially more innovative SMEs and smaller actors. And there is also all the challenge of deploying ICT throughout the more traditional sectors. So digitization of the economy is one of the struggle, and for that, companies that are not ICT need to incorporate ICT in their products and services. And we see it's not that always that easy, and we are a bit in Europe a bit behind some other region in the world. And finally, we need to today, if we look at the main standards, not so many are coming from Europe. So because we are not deploying ICT solutions too fast enough in Europe, but the standards are made out by some of our competitors, world competitors. So there is really a struggle to accelerate the pace of the definition and adoption of European standards in ICT. And that's why the Commission is launching these new instruments that are called FTSP or cascade funding projects. So how does it work? Cascade funding is through Horizon 2020 with the Commission is selecting and funding some projects where you've got coordinators and a few partners. And so these projects received funding, and part of this funding will be disseminated through third parties with funding ranging from 20 to up to 200 to 3,000 euros, depending on the project, to newcomers. That will be companies, startups, research centers, and mostly SMEs, either young or not so young. From a legal point of view, how does it translate? The Commission is contracting with the project, which is through the grant agreement, and afterward, there is a subcontracting contract that is made between the partners of the project and the final beneficiaries or third parties. So from a legal point of view, there are third parties to the contract. They are not signing directly to and responsible directly to the Commission. It's up to the project to be responsible. There is four main types of cascading grants, cascading projects. There's the last one there won't be any example today, so I'll describe them. I'll go through them. So the first one are, I would say, traditional AI innovation action projects, and sometimes a bit of research innovation action. So these are projects that are doing common research projects, but they will dedicate a little part of their budget in order to help disseminate some of and test some of the technologies that have been developed through the project. Then there is the DIH, Digital Innovation Hubs projects, which are more about the ecosystem. The platforms, je fais d'abord vite, puis après. I'll go more deeper in just afterward. Platforms is more about the adoption of ICT platform, which are hardware, but also a lot of software. And there is NGI, which is a next generation internet. So traditional projects, I won't go into too deep in this one because it's really the adoption of some research results by some companies that want to test, or research centers that want to test and try the solutions. Digital innovation hubs. These is a very different kind of project. So you forget about the usual research innovation project that you can see in PIA or ANR or FUI. These are very different kind of projects. Why? Because the goal of this project is to build an ecosystem. It's to fund an ecosystem. So you've got partners for 3-4 countries that get together, and the funding received by the Commission is to help funding each of the ecosystem through testing, through experiments, which the Commission calls experiment. So there there's two. I don't remember the next slide. Yes. So there's two objectives. First one is you've got, for example, research centers have a lot of equipments of new software, new products, and companies want either to test some of the solution on equipments that are they cannot afford because it's too expensive, or it's just so this is the first part. So you get paid to come to the research center, use, for example, a robot and test. You come up with your software, you try it, and you see if it improves the functionalities of the robots, for example. Then you've got the other kind, is also you are a company and you want to get to know better what is I don't know, for example, you are in a more traditional field, I would say imaging, and you would like to get some expertise on AI in order to improve the capacities of your sensor, for example. So you get to go to the research center, and they're going to help you. You get paid, and the research center get paid by the Commission in order to improve your sensors by incorporating some AI algorithm. You've got also the third one, which is you've got companies that have developed some of new system software, and they want to disseminate it. And through there also, companies can come and test and incorporate some of the software or equipment into their own products and solution in order for RDI purposes. After IPR needs to be dealt between the partners, this is something else. You get paid to try and test the solution and incorporate it, include it in your own solutions. Then you've got the platforms projects. So the goal of these is to really to create some new. If I could take a parallel, is today most of the big platforms are Android or Apple, iOS. There's not so many in Europe, European made. So the goal, but we are in Europe, we are quite good on some sectors. So the bet is that we're gonna try and dedicate some efforts on a vertical level and develop what is the kind of B2B operating system for specific verticals. Today, if you look, Android is trying to go to the car, to go into some verticals. We cannot go face to face with this kind of approach, and starting from a main and a broad platform such as iOS or Android. So the bet is we're gonna attack our strategy is to go through the verticals. So the idea is to develop B2B operating systems that will go respond to the needs of one specific vertical. And so what the Commission here is paying, the development of the platforms, the pilots for testing them and implementing them in some use cases, the hoping that it will create an ecosystem, and that people will adopt this platform, and it will be a standard de fait. And afterward, and that we come into cercle vertueux. Sorry, I don't know the virtuous cycle. I don't know the right English word for that. And the Commission, through this platform project, is funding the whole cycle. So they will fund the technology development, but also the technology adoption and the ecosystem. Because more we will have users on a specific vertical, the more we can hope it will become a standard of fait. Yeah. Well, this is the same. It's exactly what I just said. And for example, if you look to the work program 2018-2020, you've got 4 big verticals, which are called platform. In fact, you've got a little bit more if you go to other part of the work program. Is one in future using 4.0, so factory of the futures. Another one is agro-food. Another one on the health, and another one on homes and smart grids. Then you got the 4th kind of project that will not be presented today because it has just been launched this summer. So the projects have been selected, but they are still not ongoing. And these are the 4 projects. So it's the project from of the Next Generation Internet Initiative. So I think the Commission could have been a bit better in order to find this name, but okay, this is the name we have to live with. And what is the goal of this is to, it's really a totally different approach. This kind of project in privacy, in blockchains and in discovery technologies are receiving a huge amount of money, but 90% of the funding will be dedicated to fund startups, web entrepreneurs, and very small teams, academic teams that would like to make a company afterward. In these three main areas, which are privacy and security, blockchains, and discovery technologies. So this kind of project we are working like a cascade funding project, but they receive money and really disseminate it for very specific projects that are fully autonomous. Doesn't need to get close to use a specific standard, specific solution. No, it's really open solutions. And yeah. C'est tout pour moi. So now I'll let the floor to Claire. Je ne sais pas s'il y a des questions maintenant ou on prend maintenant. Well, I don't know if you have any question. I would be pleased to respond to them. No? No question? Well, so thank you for your attention.